Hi guys, this is Terry with Adorable Deco Decor, and I thought I'd go live this afternoon. We are back from market this week in Dallas, and thought I'd go ahead and share this with you while I make an everyday wreath. Trying to get my shop loaded up with some more everyday, any occasion wreaths. Before I get really heavy into fall, Halloween, and then Christmas. So the base, I've got a 14-inch grapevine wreath, and usually I'll put my wreath hanger on it first, but I'm not really sure what I'm going to do with it. This is going to be like a fly by the seat of the pants kind of thing. We're just going to kind of wing it. But my vision is to put the bow down here, just a real simple bow, but so I'm going to go ahead. I'm not going to put the wreath hanger on yet. Let me get this hung back up here. Well, I got something. Let me trim this up real quick so it'll lay a little bit flatter. I haven't cleaned it up real well yet. So it's got a few wary grapevines on it. Uh-oh, where's my other? There it is. Okay. All right, and this is a pretty round wreath, so I don't really have to worry about, trying to find the best way for it to hang, but it's very round, and as you can see, it's just pretty much straight on also. So this is a good grapevine. It has, it has enough space between the vines, but not too much space where you can't get things glued in and really secure, and not too tight where it's not going to be too hard to get the stems in. Only one thing that's been kind of bugging me since I picked this up, though, I may have to, I don't know if you can see that, I've got one vine that keeps on wanting to kind of fall back and forth. We may have to zip tie him together before it's all said and done. But anyway, we'll go ahead and get started. And I have these, what are they called here? Veranda sage sprays that I've got. And I wanted something just real soft greenery. Not anything real harsh, kind of a farmhouse feel. But I've got 4 of these that we're going to use. I may not use all of them, but I grabbed more than enough. And then I need it, it's as pale as it is. I didn't want it just to be kind of washed out. And so I did pick up some more greenery. First off, I started out with just some ficus leaves or another fern, similar to what I used in that other wreath. But it was just almost too harsh of a contrast, so I found this, it's kind of a powdered eucalyptus bush. Got that at Hobby Lobby, and I thought that might break up the color. I didn't want it just monochromatic. We'll break up the color just a little bit, but not too harsh. And I got a couple of those, and then the same thing with the grass. I don't know if we'll use this or not, but again, it's powdered, and the leaves are a little bit variegated, so it can give a little bit of interest, but yet be a little bit different colored than this other stem. And at first I was debating whether to use a bow or not. I think if I do use a bow, it needs to be real simple, and I went ahead and I pulled out 3 ribbons. When I went to market, black and white is still all the rage. I mean, every place you look, it's there. And so I thought I might use this for just a real simple bow. 1 ribbon. We're not gonna combine ribbons, but I might use that. It's a 1.5-inch wired gingham. Or I've got this just a basic tan linen. I do have some burlap that I had pulled, but it was 2.5-inch. And I thought I didn't want it to overpower the wreath, so I thought we needed something a little bit more delicate. And this is a tan linen 1.5-inch wreath or ribbon, and I just thought the muted colors might go well with that. Or I've got this tan and white striped. There again, kind of a farmhouse feel that we might use. And we'll wait until close to the end before we put a bow on. I am going to leave a space for it. And I can easily fill it up if I change my mind, decide I don't want a bow. So what are you guys all doing this weekend? We've been pretty low-key this weekend. I had to work my regular job yesterday. Then we went and played golf. My husband went and played golf today. But then it started raining. You guys all getting all this rain too? I'm breaking up this stem. I wanted to kind of curl it around the grapevine, and I could have left it all together, but there was kind of a gap in between these two sections anyway, and I didn't want to have to fill it up. So we'll just go ahead and work with this. I'm going to cut the end off of this as well. And if you don't have a whole bunch of these, as I do, you might save these. These are really good for adding things to boards and such. You want to make your own pick. So, all right, I'm getting the tags off, and we're going to get these ready to start here real shortly. I do have to warn you, I think we'll have plenty of time, but my husband's going to bring back dinner for me tonight, so I don't have to cook. So if I hear him come in, I might have to stop all of a sudden because I don't want him to have to wait. What about you guys? What are you doing this afternoon? Cooking dinner? Oh, Linda's wanting to see the pumpkin frame on the wall. Oh, I forgot that was over there. Yeah, I'll get that here in just a second, Linda. Just working on getting the price tags off and kind of getting organized here. I'm not going to cut that third stem yet because I'm not sure if we're going to need 4 of them. But right now I've got 3 of these. I just cut them up into 2s. Okay, and now we just need to spread them out so they don't look like they've been flat laying in a box like they have been. Oh, Julie's going to a barbecue. Oh, I'm jealous. It's too rainy where I'm at for anybody to be barbecuing out. That sounds great, though. I was just thinking today we've hardly had any really summer or late spring to enjoy. It's been so doggone raining. I know the farmers have had a terrible time. I know some farmers have given up on putting any corn out this year. Somebody had posted a picture about, it's probably about 50 miles south of where I'm at, and kind of southeast, I guess. And they actually had somebody that was, what do they call that? Surfing in the middle of a cornfield. That's how wet it's been. So, okay, see how we got it, kind of brought that to life? See how flat and one-dimensional this one is, and now we've brought it to life. Okay? I feel like I got something on my nose here. Probably start sneezing next. All right, I'm just going to kind of place these around to start with. I'm going to trim this just a bit shorter. And I'm going to kind of bend it to go with the frame. Like I said, my thought is I'm going to put a nice, just a nice simple bow down here. So we'll just start out just by placing these just to kind of get an idea. Got these too long. Okay. I've got to make sure that I remember to keep them in the right order too, because there's a definite difference between the top of the stem and the bottom. And I don't want all the bottoms all bunched up on one side, then it's going to be too full. So, oh, okay. Oh, Julie, you got sunny Florida. Good grief. I'm jealous, like I said. Well, I'll stay up here and I'll keep the rain up this way. It just seems like our weather, we've just been in a cycle. It's just like deja vu, day after day after day. It's the same weather patterns. And our dog, who, he's a German Shepherd, and has never ever had any problems with thunder or lightning, anything like that. Now all of a sudden has decided that he's afraid. Which that's not a problem if he's afraid and he keeps it to himself, but he decides he wants us to wake up and keep him company whenever the lightning happens at night. I don't know why seems like that he would have been the opposite, you know, maybe scared to start with and then get used to the lightning and thunder, but I don't know. Hey, Jamie, how are you? One of these days you're going to need to get your own Facebook account, Jamie. Jamie's one of my dear friends, and she posts under her daughter's page, and so I don't ever know who's actually on the video. So, but welcome, thank you. Okay. All right, I think 3 is going to cover this nicely. Now I'll put the third one down here. I have to do a little bit of rearranging, but okay. Like I said, we're just getting a hold of each one of these little branches and kind of lifting them up, kind of fluffing them just like you do a Christmas tree. Okay. All right, one more. We may have to still kind of redisturb it this once I get everything in there, but we'll see. But this is a real simple way if you're brand new to wreath making and a little bit scared of grapevines or florals. Just grab you some stems and deconstruct them like this and stick them in a wreath. And you can see, I mean, how full we've already got this. That's just with one stem. But if you're having trouble like picking out flowers and that kind of thing, you're wondering what goes together. I mean, if you already find it on a stem, just like this greenery, if you already find it on a stem, you know it goes together. So just deconstruct it, put it where you want it. Okay. Oops. Lost one here. Let's see where that went to. Okay. I'm just going to stick a little dab of glue on it. Get him right back in there. There we go. Good as new. Okay, and at this point I can decide either to zip tie those stems in, or if I could take them out and glue them. And I might, you know, like I said, some of these are a little bit more full than others, and we could always borrow from here and put some down here if we want to, but to start with, I'm not going to do that because I've got other greeneries that I'm thinking about using. So, all right, now I think I'm just going to zip tie them in, and I've got some brown zip ties. So, all right, let's get some zip ties. I've got brown zip ties that'll match, you know, just kind of blend in with the grapevine, and I'm just going to zip tie this in a couple of places, each one of these little stems. And you don't want to grab too many of the grapevines, because if you do, and then you start tightening things down, then your grapevine's going to be too tight where you're not going to be able to get everything, you're not going to get everything secure, or you're not going to be able to get the remaining stems in. And usually what I do, I'll put 2 on them, 2 on each one of these stems. That way I know it's not going to go anywhere. And I'll come back, even though this is brown and it blends in with the grapevine, I'll come back and I'll cover that with moss. Also, these little zip ties. Thank you, guys. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not going to bore you guys. I'll come back and do that later. I don't want to bore you guys just sitting here watching me. We're going to speed things up while I just secure the greenery to the grapevine with zip ties. Zip ties in. I'm just picking up 1 or 2 pieces of the grapevine. I'm not wrapping it all the way around. Okay, and that's all of them have been secured now. Let me kind of rearrange the greenery a little bit. Like I said, I know it's kind of sparse right here, but I want to put the bow right there. I never can see that side whenever I'm doing a live. I hope you guys can see all right, but I feel like I always neglect that side of the wreath whenever I'm doing a live. All right. And really, you guys, if you didn't want to put a bow on it, this would be a really pretty wreath just as it is. We just fill in that hole right there, but I said I had in mind that I wanted to put a bow, so I have black and white checked. I think everybody's thought black and white check. So let me look here. What do you think? I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be good. So, all right, let's make a bow. Just a real simple bow. Like I said, I don't want anything that's going to overpower the wreath. And I was thinking I wanted some pretty long streamer. Like I said, that's really popular at market. And I want some really long tails. Maybe like that long. Okay. Yeah, too much. That's what I thought. Okay. And let's see. Make our loops about, these are about 6 inches. It seems like no matter what I do, I always end up with 6 inches. So, and it's, like I said, just a real simple bow. I'm thinking 2 loops on either side. And all we're doing, we're just making the loops, and every time I go back to the back, I'm twisting it so that the right side of the bow, or right side of the ribbon is showing. You may not be able to see it on camera, but there is a seam on the back side where it's got the wire in it. So even though you can see the pattern on both sides, you wouldn't want to see that seam. So that's why I'm going ahead. If it wasn't for that, you wouldn't even have to twist it. Okay, now, as I said, well, just a real simple bow, and I'm wanting 3 streamers, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to make this last loop really long. Just like that, okay? And I had a pipe cleaner someplace. It's probably on the floor. So we just secure that with a pipe cleaner. And before I get it too tight, I always check one last time, make sure my bow loops are even. Oops, just like that. Just like that. Oops, I let that one get twisted. And that way you can still kind of adjust it if you need be. And you just twist. That's all there is to it. So. Hey, Linda. Okay. We'll just tighten that down. Okay. I think this gingham, I think it's just soft enough, it's going to look good with it. So, all right, we'll go ahead and secure the bow. Just run that pipe cleaner through the grapevine. Sometimes that's the hardest part of the whole thing. But if you get in a pinch and you just can't get it through, you can always get a pair of needle nose pliers and run it through that way. Remember, we kept that one loop extra long, and all I do with that, we'll go ahead and cut it. Now we got streamers. Okay. Not a real fancy bow, but like I said, I didn't think this project called for one. Yeah. I have to rearrange all that. I'm always fussing with my bow loops. So, okay. Now, I'm just going to leave these right now. But now we'll decide if we want to add some more greenery. I think we could just leave it like it is if we wanted to, but I want to add a little bit more fullness to it. Okay? And let me see what this is going to look like. Yeah, I think this is going to work. I've got this powdered eucalyptus bush. I got this from Hobby Lobby. I think it's in their everyday section. Let's get the tag off here. So pretty much you can get it anytime. And I use it a lot. We'll just cut each one of these little stems. And they're pretty thin stems, so they're going to need to be picked. Hopefully my pick machine is cooperating today. I forgot to check my glue here. Get it just a little bit hotter. Hey Joanne, how are you doing? Thanks for joining in. And I don't want this to get real heavy, so what I'm thinking, we'll just put a little bit, I don't even know if I'll use 2 bushes on this, okay? So we'll just go ahead and start adding this where we see holes. Oh, thank you, Joanne. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much. All right, let's find another hole here. We got to make sure we kind of space it pretty evenly. You don't want a whole bunch one place and not very much the other. And I've got 6 pieces to this. No, I got 5 pieces to this, so. Plus I've got one more bush still. And even with these little eucalyptus stems, I'm bending them so that they're not just straight, just like straight out of the box. And I'm just about putting this just about every space in between those pieces that we broke up. I'm thinking one in here, put some on the inside, some on the outside. There again, to try and make it look as natural as we can. And I got some glue I got to cover up. I just got some moss. We'll just cover that right now. I try to do it when it happens. Okay. All right, now we'll get this side over here. Like I said, I always neglect that side when I'm talking to you guys. If I wasn't doing a video, I would have it straight on with me, but then you guys couldn't see. And I always go back after I get done doing a live. Probably you guys see it. You're like, oh my gosh, that looks so lopsided, or there's that huge hole there. How did you not see that? And I always go back after the fact and always revisit and fix everything I can. Do a couple pieces right in there. So we'll get our other bush. When I'm working, I always keep the little price tags right there close, all in one area so that I don't miss them. So if you're doing it for a business, you got to make sure everything counts. Okay. Okay, I think we need one right in here, and probably I see a little hole over there too. There again, every time we pick one up, we bend it. And I usually ended up with it like in shape of an S or so. If you can see what I'm talking about. Oops, put that in there. And just a little bit over here too. I'm going to turn it toward me so I can kind of see what I'm doing here. A minute. I think we need something down here and right up in here. Go over here. I'm not thinking I'm going to add that grass. I think it's going to be, to me, for some reason, you know, it's powdered and they got the softness of the curved, or the rounded tips on the leaves. I think this grass is going to make it it's too sharp, if that makes sense to you. I think it's going to make it not be as soft as I want it to look. Probably that only makes sense to me. Let me know if you guys, if it makes sense to you guys, if you know what I'm talking about. So, hey Sharon, how are you? Fredna's wanting to know where I got my pick machine, and I got mine from Hobby Lobby. If you get it from the Hobby Lobby, be sure you use the 40% off coupon, and it brought it down to like 100 and change. But I know a lot of people that get them on eBay, and you know, floral stores going out of business and such. And these things, if you take care of them, they last forever. So, but you might check out that before you go and spend a whole lot of money on one. Now, where did I say I needed this? Oh, let's put one underneath it here. Get to talking and then I forget what I'm doing. And we need something up in here in the bow too. Need some underneath here. So you need a little over here. Just a little piece. I may have to go back and get some more of this. Got glue strings. I know you guys can't see them. I just think I'm just sitting there grabbing at the air. You know, I may need to break open that other stem just to put a little bit of something. I need something underneath the bow. Don't want that neglected. So that's maybe just the top of this will work. Might be too much. I may have to deconstruct this as well. This is the top of that final stem. Remember, the bottom was a little bit bushier than the top. There we go. Yeah, and we'll put a little bit up on top as well. But, that's unstuck. I'll see if I got someplace I can just stick this. And find a zip tie. I should have thought of that whenever I was making it, but I was afraid. I did think about it, but I was afraid my bow would get too crunched up. There we go. Like I said, it'd been a lot easier if I'd done this right away, but that's all right. I'm going to put a little bit of greenery right behind the bow up on top as well. And we're almost done, guys. I don't want it to get too full. I want it to be light and airy. Don't want it too crowded. I'm going to come around behind this. Yeah, I got all my glue off of it. And about need one more piece right in here as well, but let me see. Okay, I'm going to turn it towards me so I can see what we got here. Still got a hole right up here. Let me take this last little piece here. Oh yeah, Kathy was saying, let me see it cut off. Yeah, Kathy's exactly right. You look at a wreath and think it's done, and then you go to look through the viewfinder or take a photo of a wreath, and you'll see exactly where all the holes are, and that's for sure. And it's also, it's like, once you see it, you can't unsee it. It's like your eye just goes right there for some reason. And I've asked about that before. I don't know why that happens like that, but you're exactly right. I got this little place here kind of sticking out, and I might steal him and put him someplace else. Now, just this one little section right here wants to stick right out. If I put him down, then it looks too heavy, but let's do that. Okay. All right, now the streamers. Get our bow taken care of. And we'll be done. So, and I'm just gonna take these ends, cut them all off about the same length. And then I'm just going to cut them at an angle, or you can dovetail them if you want. But I found that cutting them at an angle sometimes will help with fraying if you've got a ribbon that might fray. Okay. Now I'm just going to roll them softly up. Oops, I don't like that one. Okay. All right, guys. What do you think? Oh, thank you, thank you. Oh, absolutely, Fred. No, absolutely. Pretty. Sometimes less is more. Exactly right. Thank you, Kathy. Let me zoom in here. See if we can. Let me drop that down a little bit so it isn't competing with that background there. I didn't realize those wreaths were hanging there right in the way. So anyway, look how quick we did that. And it's just taking some stems, deconstructing, attaching them, and then just filling in holes. And of course, as always, I will go and revisit this later and make sure that there's any holes. I fill them in, kind of even it out if I need to. But see how easy that was? So